Hey everyone, this is Teresa from Base 10 Montessori, and today I'm going to do a quick introduction to the language album. And the area of the language album that we're going to focus on is called the function of words, which is all about teaching grammar in the AMI Montessori primary classroom. So the language album, it has a lot of lessons in it, and this section called the function of words can be a little bit of a tricky section because we are not just introducing grammar, we're doing it in a sensorial way. We call it a sensorial impression of grammar. And this is something that Montessori does very differently from any other teaching style. And when I went through my training and I learned how to give these grammar lessons, I was absolutely blown away by just how concrete we can make grammar lessons. And I sure wish that somebody had taught me this when I was in school, because I think I would have been a lot better at grammar. So this video is going to be all about introducing this area of the language album. And I'm not going to get into any lessons in this video. This is really just preparing you for what lessons we're going to do, the path that we're going to follow, and the resources that are accessible to you that hopefully are affordable. So let's talk about the function of words. What is this all about? As I've already stated, this is really all about grammar, but it's not grammar like you learned in traditional public schools. This is the sensorial impression of grammar. And one of the reasons why we say that is because in my age group, in the 3 to 6 age group, these children are concrete learners. They're not ready for the big abstract lessons. And so when we're talking about teaching these abstract ideas, which can be difficult even in high school and college, we need to make them concrete. We need to make them hands-on. We need to have an experience to go with these ideas. So when we're introducing these big abstract ideas in a 3 to 6 environment, we have to simplify them. We have to give a concrete experience of them. And that's what we're going to show in all of these lessons. And I think you'll find that you'll really enjoy these grammar lessons. So in the AMI primary classroom, once children understand that sound-symbol relationship, the phonics, and they have started reading, they can begin being introduced to the function of words. So this is around the age of 4.5 that we're going to start giving these lessons. Now, that being said, I know that because of COVID and because of a lot of the stuff that's going on in our society these days, children are not reading at grade level or at expectations. So take the age with a grain of salt, and don't forget that these lessons still work with older children. So if you're thinking that, you've got a 6 or 7-year-old child and you can't do these lessons because they're too old for them, you know what? I would say give them a try. Start somewhere. See what they gravitate to. So don't get too fixated on the age. But if you're going through AMI training, yes, you do need to know the age for your exams. So the purpose of the function of words area in the language album is to introduce the parts of speech and associate them with a symbol from the grammar box. And we'll get into that as we go along in our lessons. So introducing this symbolization is really important because it is part of that sensorial impression that we're giving the child. We're giving them something visual to connect it to. The symbolization is what gives children a sensorial impression of grammar. And the areas that we're going to cover in the language lessons is the article and noun, which come together, they go together, and that's going to be that very first lesson. And then after that, we're going to start exploring the adjective, the conjunction, the preposition, the verb, the adverb, commands. All of those lessons are going to be in the primary environment. These categories are introduced through labels or by the guide writing in cursive. Now again, I'm showing you AMI primary lessons, and if you are not aware of this, in AMI primary, we write in cursive and we read in print. We start out right away with our 3-year-olds doing cursive with the sandpaper letters. We introduce that first, and then we introduce print as they begin to learn to read. I have a language section in my playlist area, and you can search through all of my language lessons and you can see some of the videos that I've talked about this idea of writing in cursive and reading in print. But I'm not going to get into that today because I want to focus on the grammar. So the children will read the words, they'll analyze the function of each word, and then they will symbolize them. So we have this presentation, and then we have the symbolization, and then there's another part of the lesson that's really important in all of our grammar lessons. So in addition to the introduction of each of these categories of words and their function, children are challenged to think about the importance of sequence. And we're going to call this the transposition part of the lesson. So we have our presentation, we have our symbolization, and then we're going to have our transposition section. So the guide will provide many opportunities to transpose phrases and sentences so that children can see that words have a logical order and that the function of a word can change based on word order. So this idea of transposition is a really important part of each lesson. So let's talk about the order of lessons, and this is according to my training, which is AMI. The order I'm going to present these lessons to you is the article, that's the first lesson, and along with the article we do introduce the noun, so those two things go together. The adjective, and then there's a lesson called the logical adjective, followed by the detective adjective, the conjunction, and the preposition. Now the preposition I actually already have a video on. That's the first one I've done. I put it out there a while ago just to see how people would respond to learning the Montessori grammar lessons, and people really liked it. They wanted more of it. So based on the success of that video, that's why I'm going to go back and do this entire series on the function of words. So after the preposition, we do the verb, and then we cover a section called Other Aspects of the Verb, which actually has several lessons under that one area. So that's going to be a bigger one to tackle, and I might have to break that video up into a couple different parts. After that, we're going to talk about the adverb, and then there is a lesson called the logical adverb, and then we get into commands, which again has a lot of different lessons to it, a lot of different baskets to it. So we have several different command baskets that we'll have to get through, and again, that might be a video where I have to film things separately. Now let's talk about resources for these lessons, because the grammar area is one area where you do not have to spend a lot of money. When you're starting your own classroom, when you get out of AMI training, most likely the language section is going to be the hardest section for you to fill in your classroom, because it really requires you to make a lot of things. You got to make a lot of those labels, and you have to collect a lot of the items on your own. And that can be really tricky for a first-time teacher, or if you're building a classroom from scratch, because it takes a long time to build up your language area. A lot of the times with other areas like the math area, you can just go over to an outlet and just order a bunch of stuff. Language is a little bit trickier. And it doesn't have to be expensive, but it is a little bit more work, and you'll probably have to put a little bit of elbow grease into making your lessons. But one thing that you can do is find items around your house. You're going to see that as we go through these lessons, you can use a lot of items that you already have. You don't have to go out and buy a lot of stuff. However, if you do need to buy some stuff, you can go to cheaper places like the dollar store. Or one area that's really helpful is actually the dollhouse section at Hobby Lobby, or at other stores like Michael's or Joann Fabrics, right? You can find a lot of materials there in that section. You can also go to a garden store and find lots of fairy garden items, which might work well for your language area as well. Now there's another option that I'm going to show you today, and that is the Montessori Printshop area. And I buy a lot of stuff from Montessori Printshop. So I'm going to head over to Montessori Printshop right now, show you what they've got, and I'm going to drop some links down below so you can access these materials if you are interested in having the Montessori Printshop version. So here we are on Montessori Printshop, and I have just put in a search for the article. That's going to be our first lesson that we cover. That's going to be the next video I come out with on the grammar section on the function of words. And I am going to drop the link down below specifically to some of these lessons, but I'm also just going to show you how to find some of the stuff on their website as well. One of the reasons why I'm going to drop some of the links down below, and I'm going to be very honest with you, is that I have an affiliation with Montessori Printshop. And if you want to support my channel, this is a great way to do it. Everything that I show you a lesson on, I purchase personally. So all of these lessons, all these materials are my personal materials. They're my personal lessons that I'm showing you. And that costs a lot of money. And I don't really make a whole lot of money. And if you want to support me, if you want to support what I'm doing here and you want to see more lessons, the best way to do that right now is to buy materials through Montessori Printshop. because I do get a portion of that, and that allows me to go out and buy more materials so I can show you more lessons on this channel. So it's just a good way to support me, and it's also very affordable, and I've used Montessori Printshop myself for a ton of different materials. So let's take a look at what they have for the article. Here on this page, you can see that they actually have a full lesson on the article, and it's not very expensive. It's $2. Now, if you're looking at it, you're probably wondering, okay, well, do I get the print or do I get the cursive? Well, remember what I said, if you're trying to do AMI Montessori, we read in print and we write in cursive. So if you're not writing, if you're not actually sitting down and writing the labels with the child, put them in print. These labels are meant to be read, and so therefore I would suggest the most appropriate one to buy would be the print version. So I would go over here to the article lesson and I would get the print one because the children are reading these labels. So I just want to show you what that looks like. So right here, it comes with the instructions. So it does have instructions. I don't know, this is not one I bought because I already have an album. I already have the lesson for this, so I did not buy the article lesson. So it does have instructions. I don't know if it's going to conflict with anything I show you in my videos, but it is there in case you want it. And they're going to provide 5 pictures using the indefinite article and 3 pictures using the definite article, right? A versus the. And they're going to have a set of labels for all the pictures, and they're going to include the grammar symbols required for this lesson. So if you're looking for a resource for this, $2 isn't much to spend. The only thing is, I'm not sure if you are going to like the objects that they choose. Because if you have a child that's really struggling with reading, the word present might be a difficult word for them to read. You might want to keep it simple. Simple like the word dog. That's a simple one to do. When you get into these words down here, if you know that that's not something that your students can do, then you're going to want to switch that out for your own lesson, right? So that's an option for you. So I just did a quick search for the grammar symbols, and I'm going to link this down below in the comment section as well. And if you see here, what comes up is a cursive section and a print section. Now, if the purpose is for your students to read this on their own, please get the print version. We only do cursive if we are actually writing with the child, if they see us writing. Otherwise, print, please get the print. So you can get a bunch of grammar symbols for $3 from Montessori Printshop. Yeah, you got to cut it out and you might need to laminate it, but for $3, that's not too bad. That's going to be cheaper than ordering through a Montessori outlet. So if you just scroll down here, there's all sorts of language materials you can look at. They have all sorts of different things there. You can go ahead and look at that. But for this video, I am going to put a link in the comment section to the grammar symbols and to the article lesson in case you're interested in it. I hope that this video will help you prep and help you figure out what you need to follow along with what I'll be doing. And if you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I'll make sure to respond to them. You can comment down below or you can email me if you don't feel like leaving a comment in YouTube. I do have my email readily available and you can find that down below the video as well. So with that being said, I hope this video is helpful. I hope you're excited for the series on grammar, and if you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to use those links to Montessori Printshop to support my channel. That'll help me afford to buy more materials. And don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with somebody that might need it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.